All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have Mike Chabot. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, bro. It's a pleasure.
Of course, grateful to have you on. So if you can just kick us off a little bit more about you and what you do.
Awesome. So I'm a high performance coach. So basically, what I do, I take people, successful men that want to perform more, that want to have more health, more wealth, want to be happier, and I upgrade them. Like the thing is, we upgrade our cell phone, our computer, a lot of stuff, but we never really upgrade ourselves. So if you want to have more in life, you need to become more. So I used to be like a celebrity trainer. I was like 15 years in the health sphere, and I studied like neuroscience. I'm also certified in breathwork, yoga, chakra. So everything that's like improving someone, that's how you're going to achieve the next level in life. And that's what I do. So if something is missing in your life, but you don't quite know what, I'll help you to find it.
All right, this is awesome. Yeah, there's about 30 questions cycling through my head right now. So which one I can go to first? The first one that actually came to mind, and so here's where I want to start with this is so you mentioned a few things there of how you can like improve health. Out of all those things you said, is there one that you think has been like most important to improving like your way of life, or is it really an equation that needs everything included? Do you know what I mean with the with that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I'll answer in a two segment. So yes, there is something that I would say that if you do that, it's going to change your life for sure. And that is gratefulness. So if you are grateful for what you have in terms of happiness and in terms of bringing more stuff in your life, manifesting it, elevating your vibration, being grateful and present is the best thing you can do for yourself. Then if you're talking about um, improving your performance, your mindset, all that stuff, there's other thing you can do. But if you ask me the most important thing you can do in your life to improve the quality of your life and your wealth and all that stuff, I would say like being grateful and present is the best hack.
And what do you journal gratitude every morning? Or like what are your best gratitude practices?
So yeah, I actually have a gratitude journal. So I created that because I looked online what was available, and I was like, it's not exactly perfect. So I created, it's called the Road to Abundance daily journal for your most abundant life. So it's on Amazon, and I use it every single morning. So I do it first thing in the morning when I wake up. I want to start my day with those vibrations. So I put it next to my bed or in my office, and it's one of the first step I do. Either I do it right when I wake up, or I do it after my routine. So it's very important. And what I challenge people to do is to be grateful, like, let's say for a month, and try not to put the same thing. I ask them to put 5 things a day. And that's the challenge, because at the beginning, it's easy. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the water. I'm grateful for my money. I'm grateful for my business. But at one point, you're going to be like, start thinking about what are you really grateful in this life for? And that's where the challenge comes.
No, 100%. I think it is, like you said, it's like a vibration thing. And it's also, it almost becomes this thing where if every day you keep reminding yourself what you're grateful for, it'll keep showing up more in your life. And if it doesn't, it's almost like it just is like going against the laws of physics or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I often give the example, like, let's say you and I are friend, Tyler, and then I have another friend, you have another friend, let's say, and we go to the restaurant and you pay for me. And I'm like, cool, okay, what are we going to do? And I don't even say thank you. You'd be like, okay, I mean, it's a little weird, but, and then we go again to the restaurant and you pay again. And I don't say thank you. And at the end, I'm like, hey, bro, I need some money for my rent. Can you lend me some money? You'd be like, fuck, this guy is like, is a little weird. Not even grateful for what I do for him. Every time I pay, he doesn't say nothing. But if your other friend is always like, hey, bro, I really appreciate, I know you're very successful in life. I'm coming up, but I appreciate when you pay for the meal. It's like, it means a lot to me. And at one point I'm like, I'm struggling. Can you lend me a little bit of money for rent or something? Like you'll be more inclined to do it, because you're like, fuck, that friend, every time I do something for him, he's grateful for it. So life worked the same way. If life gives you something and you're never grateful for what life gives you, it's going to take it back. And if you're grateful, it's going to be willing to give you more. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, dude, that is the best example because it's like an extreme example. Like that would be
Yeah.
so weird. Like the first time, exactly how you said is exactly how it happened. Because if that was with one of my friends, the first time, you're right, I would kind of probably brush it off. I'd be like, all right, that's a little weird. Like I just treated them and everything. But if it was like two times, I'd be like, all right, this guy is like kind of selfish. Like this is weird. So it really amplifies after that second time. Um, Question, because I actually normally start with this and I skipped it over, I think, because I was just excited to interview. So I'm curious, like, obviously, and maybe I'm wrong, but you probably were not always this way, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're based on, I follow you on Instagram and stuff. And like, from what I've seen, you're very on top of stuff, dude. You're fit. You seem like, things are going very well in your life. But what led you to that? Like, were you always this way or did you have some sort of awakening experience?
I was always interested. Like from when I was young, I was like studying the Egyptian, and I was always interested into energy and all that stuff. And then I found the book The Secret when I was 15, and I was always like interested, but doing things for the wrong reason. So I wanted money. So I didn't really understand when they say serve people and money will come to you, or be the right frequency. And I always had good intention because I'm a good person. I have a good heart, but it's like I was like, fuck, I want money. And then I was in the hustle thing. And then um first thing I started to having good money, like good money. Let's say in Canada, you were making 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year. You were good. Like you're living a good life. And then I went bankrupt. And then I was like, when I have money, more money, I'll be happier and I'll be like more on my shit. And then the thing with the hustle culture and all that goal setting stuff is that it's never enough. Like I was just talking with one of my friends recently, and he's making 260,000 a month. And he's like, okay, what's next? That's the problem. Number are unlimited. So if you base your success and your happiness on those number, you'll never be happy. And when I started having money, like when I doubled my income after the bankruptcy, within 6 months, I was making like 150,000 a year. And with that money, like in a city like Miami and LA, you're not living the dream. But in Canada, I had like a luxury apartment. I had a brand new Mercedes, and I was going to the restaurant 5-6 times a week. Like
Yeah.
every week I was at the restaurant. So I thought that. And on top of it, I was like having sex with girls. I was like a king, like I was like, fuck, I'm living the dream, but I was so empty inside. So
Yeah.
that's when I started asking more questions.
That makes sense, dude. And you're right on that, man. It really, it never is enough. I always tell people that I remember when I hit my first 10K month, that was probably the richest I ever felt. And like I make a lot more than that now, but it's like 10K a month was like, that was when I finally was like, I can do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
Anything above that though, and and I will say, look, prices in Miami have gone way up. So now it's
Yeah.
maybe 20K a month, but like I don't, whatever it was when I hit that like 8, 9 years ago, it was just different. Like, so regardless, I think it becomes this thing where you do need to find meaning in other things because the number game, it really never ends, dude. And it's not
Yeah.
helpful, honestly. So regardless, so what did you, okay, so did you have, once you discovered that, so 150K a year, you're doing, it seems to me you're doing a lot of pleasure seeking, right? So you're like going out, nice
Yeah.
restaurants, all these girls. But then what was it that, was it like a moment or do you remember like you woke up one morning and
Um,
yeah,
so basically what happened, it was a few event, but I'll tell you that the moment that it really stroked me. But when I was 23, I was kind of addicted to women. I was good looking, and I was having a lot of sex, like meaningless sex. And
yeah,
I found that I was kind of addicted to it because I needed it all the time. I couldn't be alone at night and shit like that. Then I got into a relationship that was very toxic. Like my ex was, what I found later on, was a full-on prostitute in the middle of the relationship. She was always like fucking client for money and shit. And I was not jealous. So I was not looking at her phone, and I couldn't leave the relationship. And then looking back, when I finished everything, that's when I went through the bankruptcy, because obviously my life was going like very bad. And then when I broke up, like that's how much a relationship tax your mind and your soul. Because when I broke up 6 months later, I was, the Mercedes, the apartment, and all the good stuff were happening in my life because I made place for energy to flow. But I kept doing like back and forth with seeking validation with women and all that stuff. And when I realized that my circle was not the best circle, and it was like all about showing off and being cool and like the money game and all that stuff, I realized something was missing in my life. And I just left. I left for Bali. I sold everything I own, and I was like, I'm only gonna come back to the Western civilization when I find myself. Who the fuck is Mike Chabot? Like, what does this guy want in life? And I was famous on social media for what you call famous. I had like 1 million follower, and I was like, I'm going to. One moment was the moment where I knew it was not good. I was in a trip in the Maldives.
Yeah.
$6,000 a night hotel, $50,000 trip. I'm living the dream, bro. Like, everybody's messaging me on Instagram. You're so lucky. You're so fuck. I wish I had your life. And I'm working, but I'm working on social media. So I'm doing my work, and me, I'm just there. And I'm like, wow, can I just go back home? I'm feeling like shit. Like, the only thing I want to do is game. I want to play WoW because I don't like my life. So that's when it struck me that things need to change, because I thought money would give me something, and even making more money won't give it to me, because I see people that are making way more money the way that I'm living my life. It's not good. So that's when it was a moment of crisis for me.
Got it. And then what were the first steps? And maybe it was gratitude, but like get to the place you are now. What were those first steps you took?
Okay, so I'll explain you what I did, and then that's kind of all that I built the Road to Abundance, which is my course. Is at the beginning, what I would tell people is just be. You need to be present, you need to be grateful, you need to, but the thing is, you've been doing the wrong thing for the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. There's a lot of subconscious thing that you need to reprogram in order to just be. So now that you have success, now that you lived all that, you have experience, maybe you're able to just be, but at the beginning, we need to change all that. So the thing is, one book I found was The 4 Agreement by Miguel Ruiz.
Yep, love that.
I suggest that reading to everyone. And I was like, you know what? I need rules in my life. I had boundaries for a lot of shit, but I didn't have boundaries for the way I live my life on those terms. And I was like, this guy seems pretty happy. Let me just live my life like that. So I started living based on those 4 agreements. And for the 3 years after, from 27 to 30, I just was experimenting, adding stuff, removing stuff. And then that's what led me to building Road to Abundance. I was like, okay, those things that I'm doing plus other stuff are the things that made me happy and fulfilled, and that I was able to double my income every year while being happy, while becoming my higher self. So that's kind of like, I started with those 4 agreements. And then from that, I was also communicating with people that I felt were successful. And when I say successful, I'm not only talking about money. I'm talking about relationship. I'm talking about they build business. They're grateful. They're present. Like, they're wealthy, but they're healthy too. So it was like, for me, it's more than just money. And then I built something around that. And it's like, it's a way of living your life. It's how you do things. It's not necessarily the things that you do.
I love that. So, and it's called the Road to Abundance, right? That's the, yeah. So, and the course is a 90-day course. And what is it? Can you go a little bit more detail on like what happens? Obviously, like, don't tell us the whole course, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So at the beginning, like I said, so what people don't realize is that 95% of what you do in your day is subconscious. So a lot of people, and I've seen it because I've trained thousands of clients, they tell me that they want to change, but they're not changing. They tell me that they want to eat healthier, but they're still going to McDonald's. So you've seen it with someone that's smoking cigarette. They're like, I know I should stop smoking. It's bad for me, but I can't. And I know, for me, when I wanted to leave my ex, I was like, fuck, this is so bad for me. It's so toxic. Why am I staying here? And I understood that you do things in a subconscious way that you're not in control of. And there's trauma and there's things that need to be addressed. And yeah, it's cool to hustle. Yeah, it's cool to have the right habits. But if you don't fix the machine that is controlling all that, no matter what you're going to try to do, you'll hit what I call the dark wall, which is no matter what you try, there's going to be a point where you get scared and you go back, and you're going to try again and you get scared and you go back, because your subconscious mind is not aligned with your conscious mind. So that's kind of what I do. I take the first 6 weeks. We're going to go and see what's your limiting belief, what's your belief, what's going on in your life, where's the trauma, what happened. And then the last week, that's when I guide you into what you need to do in your life and how you should live your life based on what you're looking for in order to achieve being your higher self. So the last 6 weeks are like habits, biohacking, spirituality, all the gratitude, the breath work, all the things that can improve your life. But at the beginning, we need to look at why you know that you're not happy, and you know that your life, you feel miserable or whatever, and some things is not good, but you keep staying in that pattern because you're making money and whatever you're having with sex with girl, but you know it's bad, but you're like, I'll just keep doing it because I don't know what I should do.
Yeah, dude, this is actually huge, because what the biggest thing from just hearing you say that I got from it is most people, I think, skip the first 6 weeks. Right.
Yeah.
So they can learn the biohacking stuff, like, and I'm sure, like, I mean, I'm sure stuff in your course is different, but I'm just saying that, like, most people are not doing that initial 6 weeks. So the last 6 weeks, it almost doesn't matter because they didn't handle the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, man. And I'm not perfect, man. Even for me, I'm readjusting every time, and I keep investing in myself. Like, people, sometimes I'm like, oh, you need to invest. And they're like, oh, like, well, I need to pay for that. Yeah, bro. Like, just to give you an example, like, last month I paid for a program, like, I mean, for a coach for next year, 120,000. Like, I can buy a Range Rover and all that shit. But for me, it has no value, because the best investment you can do is in yourself. And I never stop learning. I'm always like, I just did my yoga certification. I just did my chakra certification, my breath work. I'm always evolving as a human, because if you're not growing, you're dying. Like, and one phrase that Tony Robbins said that stick with me is, the ultimate success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And that's what I felt like when I was successful in my head, based on, like you said, the first time you did 10,000 a month, that's kind of like the goal when you never made it. You're like 10,000 a month. Wow. And then, okay, how's 20 gonna feel? How's 30? How's 50 gonna feel? But like, at one point, it doesn't feel better. Almost the 10,000 was better feeling than 50.
Yes, dude, it's so true. It really does. Like, right now, for me, it's at a point where every deal I close, I get this like little high, this like little spike, but it like goes away within like 10 seconds. Like, it's like that quick. It's just like, oh, cool, another 60K deal done. And then it's like on to the next. So it's literally so quick that it's not fulfilling. I mean, that's for sure.
Exactly. And I would ask you a question, like I remember for myself, and you can tell me if it was like that, but before I made millions and stuff, like, I wanted $1 million, and then I wanted the Lamborghini and all that stuff. And when I finally got the money to buy it, I realized that I didn't want it. Like it was all like smoke and mirror. I was like, okay, like, I'm just going to get a $5,000 payment a month, and I already have a nice X3M competition. I already enjoy my car. What's going to be a bigger car? Like, what's going to be a bigger penthouse? Like, I was like, oh shit. Like, okay, I kind of hit a wall of like everything that I thought I would want out of money. And I think that's where people, they realize that money is not going to bring. So they start like living life on other term, and they go down a spiral. And that's why they got a lot of money and they're still unfulfilled and unhappy. And might be the same for you. Like, now that you got a lot of money, you had to find things to do. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's 100%. Like, it's funny, dude, I don't even have a car. I Uber everywhere. So the only thing that I would say that, like, I definitely like to live in like a nice place because I work from home, right? Same. I spend some money on that, but I definitely like the idea of like a Ferrari or Lamborghini. I have zero interest in that. And I actually find the guy entertaining, so I have nothing negative to say about him. But like, for example, Andrew Tate, like his Bugatti, the $5 million car, like, to me, it's like, it's just so crazy. I'm like, dude, I don't think I value cars that much, or like, I don't care about luxury things, like, or like a watch or like a purse or like a shirt or like anything of those types of things, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like I
Yeah,
just
that's another thing. Like I enjoy cars. I'm like, I told myself when I'm gonna start making 200,000-300,000 a month, that's my next goal. I'll buy a 911, but I enjoy car. I buy it for myself, not for other people. And I need to set goals that I'm like, what I'm gonna reward myself with. And Andrew Tate, like the thing is, you need to understand, like you do. I'm not saying like you need, like
yeah,
people need to understand like that it's a marketing strategy because it's a $50 plan that he's selling to guys that still didn't make that much money, and that like, because us, we know that it doesn't bring anything, so we're like, okay, but like a lot of people look at it and like, wow, and then they're gonna, and I'm sure for $50 you get some good value in his course and stuff, but we know that it wouldn't sell us. So the thing for us, it's way different. And I'm like you, like I like a nice place because I work from home. But at some point, it's like, if you don't value, I like watches, but I'm not gonna, like, I don't have a Rolex. I don't like, because I only buy a model that I knew is gonna keep value. So for me, if it's just a spending, I don't want it. If it's an investment, I'll buy it.
exactly, dude. And that's where I'm at. Like any watch or painting or something that'll go up. If it's an investment, then cool. That's
Yeah.
like I'm in. And actually, I'm glad that you said that. So his $5 million Bugatti, yes. Does he like the car and does he use it? Yes. But is it also like a marketing ploy? 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it. I mean, how does he get a lot of his customers? It's from social media. What does
Mhm.
a Bugatti do? It draws a shit ton of attention. So I mean,
Yeah, man.
actually probably paid for it. It paid it the 5 million that he spent on the car, he probably made 15, so it was actually an investment in
Oh
real.
yeah, bro, it's insane. Like I think at some point he had 115,000 people paying $50 a month. For That's a lot of money. And the thing is, um, I know he was very controversial, but if you listen to the guy, he's very smart. And I know it was a marketing scheme, all that smoke. This guy just crushed the matrix. Like he was like, he knew how to provoke social media comment and all that stuff, and he went all in. And it's a persona. I'm sure the guy is amazing in person. Like
I agree.
I studied psychology for the last 12 years and neuroscience and all that shit. I can see through it. And the first video I saw, I was like, oh wow, this guy is smart. I told my girl he's gonna go viral. And then 3 months later, he was everywhere. I was like, I knew it. I
Dude,
knew it.
and you're 100% right, dude. And that's why he actually said he did an interview with Patrick Bet David. Do you
Oh,
know?
5 hour. So
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
So good.
exactly. I watched that whole thing, and one of the things that he brought up in that interview is he said, and it was like one of his like tactics, is he's like, he says, I can't remember how he said. He said something like he presents things in a way that he knows will cause controversy, right? So
Yeah.
says something that you will agree with, but
Mhm.
says it in a way that will like stir emotion in the other person, and then they share it, but then they can't help but agree with it. It was
Yeah.
something like it was some fucking Jedi shit, dude. It was good.
Yeah. And
And
then
yeah,
there's one thing, like one of the first video I saw, that's what I was like, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, notice where his speech doesn't match what he believes. So let's say he would be saying like a lot of good value stuff, and then he would be like, yeah, woman belongs in the kitchen, and then he would continue, he would spike
yeah,
something that doesn't relate to what he's talking about. So let's say we're like, hey Tyler, you need to be grateful in life. Whoa, women can't be grateful, bro. They have no purpose. And then I would continue my speech just because I want to clickbait people. That's what he was doing. And I saw the pattern, and I was like, oh no, this guy know what he's doing. He wants the clickbait. So would I do it for my brand? No, I know how to do it. It's just I don't want that stuff, because that's not what I'm selling. But it
yeah,
was genius. It was good.
100%, dude. So a question for you too is, this is kind of like a typical question, but again, I mean, you definitely are in a rhythm and like have momentum and things are going well. So I'm just curious, like, without sharing all of it, what are some of like the biohacks and like stuff that you're doing that maybe some of the listeners could actually take action on like now to enhance the quality of their life?
Awesome. So the few things that you can do, cold shower or cold bath. I ordered a plunge. So soon I'll be having a link for people that want to order it. I partnered with a brand. I'll do the announcement. I also just got a red light sauna therapy at my place. All that guys is an investment. If you take it on monthly payment, it's going to be worthwhile the money. If you can afford it one shot, buy it one shot. But those little hack, honestly, like we started with my girl and she's like, it changed my whole energy in the morning. So if you don't have the money or whatever, you want to be low budget right now, you can just do sun exposure in the morning. So it's called sunbathing. So you're going to wake up, you're going to go outside and spend a like 10-20 minutes in the sun. Just like your energy is like a power bar. You need to charge it. So before going in your phone, don't use your phone in the morning. First 1 hour, don't touch your phone. Like there was a guy, he was telling like a story about, would you let a bunch of strangers in your house in the morning, 100 or 1,000 people just walk around in your house? No. So why you do it with your mind? You're just waking up. You need to absorb what you downloaded at night. You need to be grateful. You need to set your vibration for the day. So do that thing. Why cold bath? There's so many good benefits, but why? Because it's a thing that you don't want to do and you do it. So it teaches your mind to do things when you command it to do it. And a lot of people have problem. We became too accustomed to the pleasure and too accustomed to our comfort. So the thing is, when you're like that, it's going to be ruining your happiness, your dopamine level, all that stuff is going to be bad. So cold bath is very important. Cold shower, that's one thing I do. And then meditation and breath work. Those are 4 things that you can do for free that will change your life in the morning. And then you can invest into, like me, I invested in a cold plunge to really peak it. I also have a bed that cool down at night because sleep and temperature are related. I also track my sleep with Oura Ring, and I have a mattress that track my sleep. You can invest more money in other stuff. If you guys want to do that, you can reach out to me and I'll send you links and tell you what I tested and what is the best. But yeah, there's way to invest and there's way to do it for free.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. And I'm actually going to be reaching out to you about the cold plunge because I'm in the market for that right now. A couple of different ones I've been looking at. So I'm curious which one you ended up going with, but we can talk about that after, because I think you'll probably announce it later on. Okay, so that's awesome. And then where with this 90 days to abundance and stuff, like what is your next like moves? Is this like your core course that you plan on really expanding from, or you have other things in mind in your future that you want to work on?
Yes. So right now, the Road to Abundance is targeted to men. I want to build a group of men that like suicide is through the roof with men. We have money. We have a lot of pressure from society. There's a lot of thing happening right now, and I want to help. I want to show them how to tap in and release all that bad energy and be happy and fulfilled. So I'm building a group. It's all part of the Road to Abundance program. That's what I'm going to be focusing on for the next year. They also can download my app, Health Abundance. It's free. It's for training. It's for recipe. It's for all that good stuff. And right now, the 2 other things that I would say that are in the plan for me in 2023, I'm going to host breathwork online. So people can join. It's going to be like $20, $30. There's going to be package. It's going to change your life. One breathwork session, it will change your life. I guarantee it. If you're not happy with it, message me. I'll refund you your $20. But this is the best investment you'll make in your life with the gratitude journal, and it's super affordable for everyone. I'll also have a retreat coming, and I'm writing my book. So that is what's coming for me. And later on, I have something I'm working on next, but that's what's in for 2023.
Very nice, brother. Dude, thank you. And I think once the book comes out and stuff, like we'd love to have you back on. I want to leave the floor to you if there's anything we didn't share that you want to share, and then also let people know like socials, websites, and everything where they can stay in contact.
Awesome. I would say the best advice I can give to anyone is to be present. So if you're always chasing something, chasing money, chasing girls, chasing something, you won't be happy and fulfilled. If you're present and you really create life from a place of high vibration, it will change your life. And people can find me, Mike Chabot. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on every social media. They can listen to my podcast, Road to Abundance. And also my website is roadtoabundance.com. So yeah, man, thanks for having me. I always love to share, and I love to help people. Like somebody did it for me in the past. That's why I'm doing it right now, because I believe that human beings are capable of so much more.
Thank you again, brother.
Thank you.